Amara was just 16, tired, quiet, and carrying the weight of the world on her narrow shoulders. Her shift at the grocery store had just ended, and her feet ached with every step as she walked down the slick pavement, her backpack digging into her spine. The cold evening air pressed against her worn hoodie, but she barely noticed. She was thinking about dinner, whether there would be any at home tonight. She passed by towering glass buildings that shimmered under the city lights, monuments to a world she didn't belong to. Her neighborhood was 5 blocks east. Different. Planet, really? Cracked sidewalks, busted street lamps, and the sound of sirens that never seemed to stop. But here, the sidewalks were polished, and the people were polished too. No one looked at her. No one ever did, until someone did. But not in the way she expected. She was just about to cross the street when she noticed something. No, someone on the ground. A woman. Kneeling. Struggling. One hand braced against a railing, the other clutched to her swollen belly. Her breathing was shallow, fast. Pain was written across her face like a scream without sound. Amara froze. The woman was pregnant, very pregnant, and something was very wrong. People walked past her like she didn't exist. A man in a sharp blue suit glanced at her, then kept moving. A couple holding coffee cups crossed to the other side of the sidewalk. No one stopped, but Amara couldn't look away. She stepped forward. "Ma'am?" she said gently, her voice unsure but steady. "Are you okay?" The woman swayed, then collapsed. Without thinking, Amara dropped her bag and lunged forward, catching her, just before her head hit the concrete. Her heart pounded as she eased the woman down, trying to support her weight. Her skin was cold, clammy. Her breathing was ragged and shallow. "It's okay," Amara whispered, brushing the woman's hair away from her damp forehead. "You're not alone." No one else helped. No one even slowed down. Just a few curious stares, like this was a street performance they weren't sure they wanted to see. That's when Amara realized she was it. The only one standing between this woman and something terrible. She had no idea who this woman was. No idea that the man sprinting toward them from the other side of the street wasn't just any stranger. He was Michael Caldwell, the billionaire. And the woman cradled in Amara's arms? His wife. His very pregnant wife. And in the next few minutes, Amara's life would change forever. Because what started as a simple act of kindness was about to turn into the moment the whole world noticed her. A few hours earlier, before the meet-time sirens, before the crowd, before a billionaire even knew her name, Amara was sitting on a thin mattress trying to finish her homework while her little brother, Miles, lay curled up beside her, coughing softly in his sleep. The apartment was quiet, except for the ticking of an old clock and the occasional creak from the hallway upstairs. They lived in a 1-bedroom walk-up with peeling paint and a leaky ceiling, just enough space for 3 people to survive. Their grandmother, Mama Rose, slept on the couch in the living room. She was in her 70s, tough as nails, but her knees had long since given out. Every morning she reminded them to be grateful, and every night she cooked what little they had like it was a feast. On the kitchen table sat a pink envelope with red letters. Final notice. The rent was 2 weeks. Overdue. Again. The fridge hummed, mostly empty, holding a half carton of eggs, a bottle of ketchup, and a leftover slice of bread. Amara knew they were out of cereal. She'd checked twice. She was 16, but her eyes had seen more than most people, twice her age. Their mom had passed away 3 years ago, complications during surgery. Their dad had walked out when Amara was 9 and never came back. Since then, Mama Rose had stepped in, but age was catching up. So Amara worked. After school, she bagged groceries at a corner store. On weekends, she wiped tables at a diner near the bus stop. And somehow, between shifts and schoolwork, she found time to pack Miles's lunch, braid his hair, and remind him to brush his teeth. He was only 9. He didn't deserve to carry any of this. She did her best to keep it all together. But lately, it felt like everything was falling apart faster than she could hold it. Sometimes at night, when she was sure everyone else was asleep, she'd pull out an old book about human anatomy, a hand-me-down from the library discard pile. She wanted to be a nurse, not because it paid well, but because she liked the idea of healing people, of knowing what to do when something was wrong. But college, that was a word for other people, rich people, people with counselors, savings accounts, and last names that opened doors. Still, she dreamed, even if it hurt, even if it felt impossible. She folded the eviction notice and tucked it into her backpack behind her work apron. Miles stirred and muttered something in his sleep. Amara reached over and brushed his curls gently. "Sleep, baby bro," she whispered. "I got you." And with that, she slipped on her hoodie, grabbed her worn-out sneakers, and stepped into the night, never imagining that by the time she came back, the world would know her name. The woman was slipping fast. Her hands trembled as she clutched her belly, her knees folding beneath her as her breath came in sharp, ragged gasps. Amara knelt beside, her on the cold pavement, one arm wrapped around her back, the other fumbling through her bag for anything that might help. "Stay with me," she whispered, trying to keep her voice calm even as panic surged through her chest. "It's gonna be okay. Just breathe, okay? Breathe." Emily's face was pale. Too pale. Her lips were dry and cracked, and her eyes kept fluttering like she was drifting in and out of consciousness. Amara found a half-full bottle of water and gently pressed it to the woman's lips. Emily barely responded, but after a moment, she swallowed. A tiny victory. No one helped. People kept walking past, their expensive shoes tapping rhythmically on the pavement like background noise in a world that didn't care. A businessman glanced once, then looked away. A woman in heels took out her phone, not to call for help, but to scroll. Even the valet drivers nearby just stared. Amara's hands were shaking, not from fear, but from fury. Why wasn't anyone doing anything? And then, "Hey!" a voice snapped through the air. Heavy footsteps followed. Amara looked up just in time to see a uniformed security guard storming toward her. His brow furrowed, hand resting near his belt, suspicion written all over his face. "What are you doing?" he barked. "Step away from her. Now." Amara blinked. She's pregnant," she collapsed. "I'm helping her." The guard didn't even look at the woman. His focus was locked on Amara, on her hoodie, her skin, her trembling hands. "You heard me?" he said louder now. "Back away." Amara's heart pounded, not just from fear, but injustice. She could see it in his eyes. He didn't see a girl trying to help. He saw a problem. "I'm not letting her die," she said firmly, voice cracking but steady. "You can yell all you want. I'm not leaving her." The guard hesitated, just long enough. That's when the car arrived. A sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb and stopped so abruptly the tires screeched. The door flew open, and out stepped a man in a tailored suit, eyes wide, face pale. "Emily!" he shouted. He ran across the sidewalk like nothing else in the world mattered, and when he saw her, collapsed, sweating, gasping in the arms of a teenage girl, his whole body froze. Amara didn't know who he was, but the security guard did. "Mr. Caldwell, sir." Michael Caldwell ignored him. He dropped to his knees beside his wife, cupping her face in his hands, speaking softly, urgently. And then his eyes found Amara, and for a long moment, he just stared. Not at her clothes. Not at her skin, but at what she was doing, at who she was. Everything stopped. The ambulance door slammed shut, and the sirens wailed into the night as they rushed Emily away. Michael climbed in beside her, gripping her hand, whispering her name like a prayer. But just before the doors closed, he turned to his assistant. "Find that girl," he said, voice low but urgent. "Get her name. She saved 2 lives today. Don't lose her." Back in Hollow Grove, the part of the city no one visited unless they had to, Amara sat on the edge of her mattress, hands still shaking. Her little brother was asleep, curled into her side, completely unaware of what had just happened. She hadn't told Mama Rose yet. She didn't even know how to start. Part of her wondered if she had imagined it all. The collapsing woman, the billionaire, the way he'd looked at her like she mattered. Then, headlights lit up their cracked window. A sleek black car, parked right outside their building. Amara stood slowly as the doorbell buzzed. Her heart pounded as she opened the door and came face to face with Michael Caldwell. He didn't come with reporters. No flashing lights, no security entourage, just a man holding a quiet, impossible kind of gratitude. "You're Amara?" he asked. She nodded, her voice caught somewhere between her throat and her heart. He stepped forward and offered his hand. "My wife is stable. The baby, he's okay too, because of you." Amara didn't know what to say. "I want to help you," he said. "Whatever you need, money, a job, anything." Amara looked down at her hands, still a little dirty from the sidewalk. She thought of the eviction notice, the empty fridge, the worn-out backpack sitting by her bed. But when she looked back up, her voice was clear. "I don't want money," she said softly. "I just want a future. For my brother." Michael blinked. She continued, her voice trembling only slightly. "He's smart. Smarter than me. He wants to build things, fix the world. But we can't even afford his school supplies." There was a pause. A beat of silence that felt like it held the weight of the universe. And then, Michael nodded. "Then, that's what we'll do." They stood in the dim hallway of her building, 2 people from worlds that were never supposed to cross. Michael Caldwell, billionaire, business mogul. A man used to boardrooms, power, decisions that shaped entire cities, and Amara, a 16-year-old girl with tired eyes and shoes held together with tape. But in that moment, none of it mattered. "I meant what I said," he told her gently. "Whatever you want, say it. It's yours." Amara hesitated. Her hands fidgeted. At her sides, unsure, like she wasn't sure if she even had the right to speak. Then she took a deep breath. And she did. "I want a scholarship," she said. Michael smiled, already reaching into his jacket pocket. But then, she added softly, "Not for me, for my brother." His hand stopped. "I can figure out my path," she continued. "I'll keep working. I'll find a way. But Miles? He's 9. He builds things from scraps, fixes broken radios just to hear the static. He's got this light in him, one I never had." She looked up, eyes shimmering with held-back tears. "Give him a chance." "That's all I want." Michael stood frozen. His breath caught in his throat as her words settled over him like a quiet storm. "You saved my wife," he said, voice low. "You saved my child." He paused, struggling to hold back the emotion rising in his chest. "And you asked for nothing. Not clothes, not a car, not even help for yourself. You asked for a future, for someone else." His eyes welled. "That says everything I need to know about you." He stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I'll take care of him. His school, his books, every single thing he needs. But I'm not stopping there." Amara blinked. "What do you mean?" "You think someone like you," he said, smiling through the emotion, "doesn't deserve a future too?" She didn't answer. She couldn't, because her throat was tight, her heart was full, and for the first time, it felt like someone had really seen her. A year had passed since that life-changing moment. The struggles, the pain, the hardships, they all felt like distant memories now. Amara's younger brother, once struggling to keep up in school, now attended one of the most prestigious private institutions. His dreams of a brighter future were finally within reach. Every day he walked through those gates with pride, his heart full of hope and gratitude. As for Amara, she had found a new purpose in life. She was studying nursing, a path she had always dreamed of, but never thought she could afford. The scholarship that had made it possible was funded by none other than Michael's foundation. Quietly, anonymously, but with a deep intention to honor the selflessness she had shown. She gave everything without ever asking for anything in return. Her kindness, her sacrifice, her willingness to put others before herself. It all led her to this point. And as she stood there, looking toward a future full of promise, she realized something profound. She gave everything without expecting anything, but the world finally gave something back.